the Lady Iron Volleyball program had a very successful season, top to bottom. And a lot of that goes to the effort that's put in on a lot of different levels. So I would like to start first by talking about some things that aren't necessarily volleyball related. Every year we have families where a varsity girl and a JV girl and a freshman girl are kind of paired together, whether it be because they have similar personalities or they play the same position. And that's something that hopefully is fostering relationships that are going to go on beyond the course of season, where the upperclassmen are showing the underclassmen what it means to be in the program, the way that we handle ourselves, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to treat people. And on multiple occasions this season, I had parents that came up and said something specifically about how, you know, my daughter's in so-and-so's family, she just loves her. And so that is attributed to the quality of girl that we have. The last few years, I would say in particular, we have had a phenomenal group of girls that have gone through the program. And it makes our lives a lot easier when we're not dealing with some of the drama or the bickering that can make seasons drag on. I feel like if nothing else, this season went by really fast after we actually started playing, right? Those first like 2 weeks where it was like, oh, we've played once, were terrible, but then it just seemed like season flew by. Also, this year obviously we did it for our program fundraiser, but every year we do community service. This year, those projects included the Not So Haunted Trail for Normal Parks and Rec, the St. Jude Walk, talking to Tawanda elementary school students about the importance of being trustworthy, and having the Best Buddies kiddos come to a game, a pizza party, and then hang out with them a little bit. Again, I cannot stress enough, I love being successful volleyball-wise, but I like hanging around with good people a whole lot more. And so when we're talking about the types of people that we want, people who are willing to give back to the community or to others is what we are looking for. Lastly, reputation and the thoughts of teachers. I'm sure I will say this again later when I'm talking specifically about the varsity girls, but I promise you, on a weekly basis, there is some teacher that either emails me or comes up to me and tells me some story about how great so-and-so is. Great leader in the class, such a hard worker, always kind to classmates. And as a coach, that is the best compliment that I can hear. Because we know that years are not always going to be all winning or all easy. We're going to face adversity. But again, the way that you carry yourself and the way that you act in the classroom is something that reflects well on you, on your family, and on the program. Other thank yous that I want to get done early. Parents, I am very grateful for how much support you give to your daughters. Okay? And I know that I say this every year, and I start with you every year, but you see how some teams travel, and you see how our team travels, and it is very clear that you support and love your daughters, and it makes everything easier, okay? Because they aren't worried about some of the problems at home that other kids have to worry about, you know. And to be honest, it makes things so much easier for me because I know that they are. If we need to get meals, there's parents that are going to take care of meals. We need people to work in the concession stand. That happens. You work hard to make sure that they can be at practices when we know that we don't allow misses at practice. I cannot speak enough about how important it is to see how much you care about your daughters. Right? I mean, it has been that way since I got here. This is my 11th year coaching volleyball. And it is one of the things that I really think goes back to that like character aspect. Okay, you have great kids, but you have great kids because you've worked hard as parents. To the Strupar and Olafson families, thank you for organizing lunches for away games. It's wonderful to not have to stop or to not have to be solely dependent on concession stand food. Mr. McEwen and Ms. Ramsey helping out with the concessions, making sure that we can use that as a, again, like a moneymaker for us. I know that it is probably a pain some days to get the popcorn machine going or be here early or making sure that there's parents that are staffing it, but it is a huge relief yearly to be able to not have to worry about that. Mr. Kelly, this is going to be such a long day.
You're making her cry.
I cannot thank you enough for the amount of time that you have put into the program and Peyton. You know, I know that you enjoy doing that, but I cannot tell you how much it has improved the ability that we have to coach and being able to look at a set in 6 minutes, to restat things if we have to restat things, to point out things that we have to work on in practice. It has been an enormous help over the past 4 years. And you know, when Peyton wasn't on varsity, you didn't have to do that. You chose to do that, and it was so kind and so helpful. And I know that, you know, having talked to my parents or knowing that Mr. Barnhart travels, that's something that, you know, truly, like, people beyond our teams benefited from, because they were able to see their grandchildren play, or, you know, for my parents, they were able to see just, you know, the girls. They know how much I hopefully try and care about them and doing well. They loved getting those emails twice a week. And they're, you know, how did you do? What's going on? Well, you can just watch it, and then we can talk about it later. But, I mean, I cannot thank you enough for how much time you have put in for this long. So, Mr. Olafson, I hope you are because you have some
no pressure.
As a small thank you.
Thank you very much. It was all worth it. For staff thank yous for Bonnie and Mark, obviously you have done a great job this year with your teams. The accountability aspect, the responsibility aspect, trying to make it so that they are prepared for whatever the next level is. I do not have enough thank yous to give you, and I hope that you are both planning on coming back next year. Mandy, Mark, Dave, Jenny, and Haley, thank you for donating your time, for how much it benefits the girls. The expectations, I'm going to say in particular, Dave, you being here this year was an enormous help at the JV level, just because there was so much individualized attention for that level. It's something that we haven't been able to have in the last few years, so thank you so much, and please come back. And lastly, we are going to single someone out, even though he's going to be mad at me. Leon? No. Please.
Moving along, Leanne, come on.
No.
Yeah, make sure you take this picture immediately posted.
Okay. I think that everybody knows Leon Lynn at this point in time, but if you don't, you should. Leon is one of the most generous individuals that I have met. And I know that this year was probably a little bit difficult for him in that he loves our seniors. And his daughter is a senior at U-High, and in spite of that, he was at practice every day. He was at games as much as he could. He took senior pictures. He brought them candy. He goes out of his way to make other people happy, to make other people's lives easier. I cannot, and again, please come back, but I cannot thank Leon enough for the way that he treats the girls, for what he has done for the program in the last few years. He has such a kind heart, and we are so lucky to have him. With that being said,
This is from all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leon, for everything.